I had asked the chief last week to produce a report, and I asked for some specific numbers that had to do with responses and non-responses. And so, since you don't have it, I'll just read what I had asked for. The number of days the Windcrest Volunteer Fire Department was out of service for any reason from January through April. That number is 20. Number of emergency responses that were not responded to during that period of service, that number shows as 3, but I believe there may be an error there. Report of emergency service responses that the Windcrest Volunteer Fire Department did not respond to, not considering allegiance, that number was around 10. During the entire period, the number of EMS calls that not responded to by WVFD, even when the department was in service, that number is 21. He didn't state that there were less than 2 This was when there were less than 2 personnel on duty, including the fire chief. Personnel remained at the station to man the engine in the event of a fire call, as well as to ensure that the medical response to ensure coverage in the event of the additional medical calls, while backup allegiance unit was being moved to the city. Report the number of requests for mutual aid from surrounding departments. A number of those calls that the Windcrest Volunteer Fire Department did not respond to. That number is 6. Number of days when the station was staffed at a minimum 24 hours of 4 people, 24 hours. Again, the number of days that we were staffed is 0. I asked for the training reports. I'm not going to read all those, but there was some training, but there were many times when there was no one at training. I say this because the fire department has some very serious issues, and we are going to deal with those issues. It's our job as the mayor and the council to provide you fire and EMS protection, and we will. The report that I just talked to you about does not mean that you will not have a fire response or an EMS response. You do have EMS responses because at least the Allegiance ambulance will show up, so you'll have EMS coverage. And if the fire department is not able to respond, we have a great mutual aid partners around the area that have been very willing to respond to our area. So you do have fire and EMS provided to you. We are going to have a conversation in executive session, but I will tell you that this, in my opinion, is the worst record for the Windcrest Volunteer Fire Department in years.